tell the Zipcar story, and I think there are three reasons why it actually, three elements for its success. The first, I would say, is that we leveraged excess capacity, and thinking about this excess capacity would be the old way used to be able to consume cars was two ways. One, you could buy a car, the entire thing, $9,000 a year, 6,000 euros a year, adds up to about 18% of your income, yet you only use it 5% of the time, 95% of the time it was idle. The second way you could consume a car is through car rental, and whether you wanted it for 2 hours or 26 hours, you were forced to buy this 24-hour bundles. So in both cases in which we consumed cars, we always had to buy more than we actually wanted. By letting people, so I knew if we let people just buy what they used, we are transforming the economics of this, and so economics was on our side. The second thing we did is we built a platform for participation. If you think about car rental now, there is this big process that takes a long time for you to actually get the car, and I knew that if you're going to rent it by the hour, it couldn't take you 15 or 20 minutes to do that. We had to really simplify everything that happened in that process and make it dead simple. And the third thing is that we thought of our customers as members and as collaborators. We had them do things that the car rental companies used to do, and I took away this adversarial position. If you think of car rental, you'd have the counter between us and them. The company would know that you're going to screw the car and not tell them about it, and you, customer, would look and say, you know what, you quoted one price, but now you're telling me, you're trying to upsell, add insurance, add fuel, and it's a totally different price point, so it's very adversarial. Zipcar took away the counter and said, you know what, you're going to walk around the car, we're going to let you use our fuel card to fill it up. You're to tell us which types of, where to park cars, what types of cars to use. And so we saw people as our collaborators. And this is back in 2000. And I love this photo because if you look at this photo, these are people who are leaving the hospitals with their firstborn children. And they're saying, hold up, let's take a photo and mail it to Zipcar. That we really were their co-creators and their collaborators. I found this cartoon recently, and it really expresses, so here's Moses coming down out of the mountain with the tablets. Excuse me is replaced in the bottom for comments. So even with God, we perceive ourselves now as co-creators. And if you think of this word consumer, 1950. Doesn't it sound like 1950? Who among us feels that we are just consumers? So I take these elements, excess capacity, people, and platforms, and it's this that I'm calling Peers Inc., people and platforms that are inventing an entirely new collaborative economy and reinventing capitalism. You will recognize all of these companies that we've talked about forever share this exact, this structure. We see it again and again. If I think about excess capacity, it is in fact sharing, because you're saying, I don't have complete control of this asset, I'm having to share it. And my favorite example is bed sharing, that I'm thinking that maybe you guys in the audience have done some bed sharing. I travel a lot. I do a lot of bed sharing. If I'm lucky, I get their excess capacity, is their home office or their kids moved out. I might have a double bed, yahoo. And if I happen to be told, go sleep in that icky teenager's bed, I said, oh my God, like no way. And that's why hotels were invented. Hotels are bed sharing. So I did some research. What is the largest bed sharing company in the world? The Intercontinental Hotels Group, after 65 years, has 650,000 rooms in 100 countries. That is a lot of work. How do we know it's a lot of work and really hard? Because the second largest is Hilton. It took them 93 years. It is a lot of work. You guys will know where I'm going. Airbnb, in its fourth year, had 650,000 rooms. And this is where I do the, can you believe it? chance. Like, it is stunning. Everything has changed because of this. Couchsurfing, in its 9th year, had 2.5 million places that you could stay. This is revolutionizing. And the question is, why is it happening? It's happening because the internet exists, and we're no longer building companies just to reduce transaction costs. We are building companies for their original reasons. Why did we invent companies? To do things that individuals can't do. What can't individuals do? Make large investments. If you talk billions of dollars, don't ask me to do it. If it's going to require lots of kinds of intelligence, don't ask me to do it. I'm smart at 2 things, not at 10. If it's going to be something that requires standards and consistency, I can't force you to do anything. I don't have the power. So big companies do that best. And I want to say institutions and governments as well. On the flip side, individuals do things that companies hated doing, which would be, and don't do, which is localization, customization, and specialization. We are really good at those things, and innovation. That's what we do really well. These 2 things pair together, and they're very complementary. And now, because of the internet, it's really easy to take take advantage of all these little, manage lots of small parts. This new collaboration is what I'm calling Peers Inc. The Inc. side is providing a platform for participation. The peers are providing a diversity of offering. Oh my God, I have to go fast. It kind of boils together in a yin and yang. It's very symbiotic and complementary. Each side has to leave something else on the table. It's really a collaboration, swimming in the sea of excess capacity. Why I love excess capacity and the whole circular economy is about this, is that's very resource and cost efficient. When I think of the circular economy, it is all about leveraging excess capacity. How do I define that? Stuff that already exists, that's already been paid for, but there's more value there. There's 3 ways once you find it to do something with it. 1, you slice it, which is what Zipcar did. It took that big asset of a car and said you can just take little pieces. 2, you can aggregate. Airbnb took 1 million little tiny bed and breakfasts or little rooms and aggregated them. Or 3, you could open it, which is, hey, here's a cool thing. What else can you do with it? A great example of that is the open data movement. So 50 governments have opened up their data sets, 1 million data sets, and McKinsey says, you know what, there's $3 trillion worth of value there. All this is brand new value. It was excess capacity lying idly there, untouched, until it became open. You know what, I want to just keep going. Why are platforms fantastic? Because they organize, make complex things simple, and empower, give the power of the corporation or the power of the government to the smaller entity. They have this incredible growth curve that you can see. So takes a long time to get your platform right. Once you get it right, it scales really fast. BlaBlaCar, real ride sharing, they are now moving 4 million people every month. They are SNCF's largest competitor, which is the same as 10,000 high-speed rail trains or 10,000 747s, yet they did not lay a track, buy a rail car. And look at their exponential curve. The diversity is brought by the peers. So diversity and innovation is key when we are today because it brings innovation and resilience and redundancy. I think of apps, smartphones and apps as this peers in collaboration. The platform is the smartphone. All the apps are the peers doing this amazing innovation on top. We've seen in the last 6 years 2 million ways of using the smartphone, the highest rate of innovation ever. Peers Inc. delivers 3 miracles. And I'm not going to go fast on this because this is actually the crux of the matter. Why do we care about miracles? And I'm going to make you very depressed because we care about climate change. So this is a World Bank report, but it's the same numbers as everyone has. 4 degrees centigrade is what we can expect by 2100 if every country does everything they expect it to do. What does 4 degrees average climate change mean? I did my research. The last time it was minus 4 degrees climate change was the last ice age, where in North America, and here probably where I'm standing, was under several kilometers of ice. So to understand the magnitude of us going forward in the next 85 years, 4 degrees, imagine the difference between me here now and several kilometers of ice and 20,000 years. It is a terrifying, terrifying thing we are happening. And we talk about do it for your grandchildren. Forget about your grandchildren. It's going to be happening by the 2060s if we don't get with the program, if countries don't do what they're supposed to do. So there is an exceptional urgency. And for me, why I'm talking fast and why I do this is every second counts. And circular economy is part of that solution, and we have to make it happen. My friend Bani Banerjee says, you can't solve exponential problems with linear solutions. This is the pace at which we've been going, which is very annoying. Try Peers Inc. So the miracles. Miracle number 1. Because we're leveraging excess capacity, we can defy the laws of physics. If I had said to you in 2000, I'm going to build the largest hotel chain in the world in 4 years, you all would have said physically impossible. Here's what that curve would have looked like. Business as usual asset building. Here's Airbnb's growth. Why? Because it leveraged existing stuff. We have to leverage existing stuff. Miracle number 2. Because we're building on a platform for participation, every single iteration is an opportunity for learning. So we can tap exponential learning. My favorite example here is learning a language. The unit of measurement is what can you learn in 1 semester of university, 130 hours. Back in the day, Rosetta Stone was the #1 winner, and they would say, we're going to do it in 54 hours, and we thought that was amazing. My new friend, CEO of Duolingo, free online language learning, he is a company that's 2 and 3/4 years old. He tells me he can do an A/B test for learning, And within 24 hours, 150,000 people would have done the A/B test, and he can tell you precisely which is the better way to learn. So he can deliver that same unit in 34 hours. Clearly, it's not going to zero, but consistently, on average, people are learning an entire unit of language doing this. This is their growth curve, 2 3/4 years old, 90 million users. People are using it. And just one more piece, even though I shouldn't. If you think of languages are language pairs, French into English, English into French. He opened up his process, excess capacity, opening up your process. Half of that 90 million, 45 million people are learning language pairs that he didn't create. Other people created. Remarkable. Miracle number 3, because we are working with a diversity of peers, the right person will appear. We are all better than Superman because he does not have a smartphone that can look at Wikipedia, know the world's knowledge, find out what the weather is, find out the best path. My example here would be Waze. I was in a car traveling using Waze. The car accident happened immediately in front of me, and the person in the lane next to me pushed Waze and said, "Caution, accident ahead." The right person will appear. It is miraculous. And if you think of Yelp, Innocentive, Quirky, all of these are examples of the right person appearing. And here's their growth curve. What is key is that it is a collaboration. Neither side can do it without the other. It is an absolute collaboration. To defy the laws of physics, you have to have the platform that has made it simple and easy for the co-investment to happen all at once. For exponential learning, you have to have the platform that is looking at all the crazy ways all of the diversity of people are experimenting on it. The right person appears. You have to have the platform that is enabling the right person, the needle, to fly out of the haystack. It's the platform that does that. So to conclude, we are definitively, in my view, moving from industrial capitalism, which was based on hoarding, trademarks, copyrights, patents, certifications, and moving to the sharing, a collaborative economy, because the internet exists and we can now network and find lots of small parts. 4 principles, all profoundly true. Number 1, shared networked assets always deliver more value than closed proprietary ones. 2 ways that assets use more efficiently, and we're extracting brand new values. An old one, no matter how smart you are in this room, we know there are more smart people outside of this room. More networked minds are always smarter, more creative, more innovative than fewer people closed into their companies. From a government big action perspective, the benefits and opportunities of shared networked assets are always greater than the problems of open net assets. So you can think about Wikipedia. Yes, there is graffiti and lies, but we have the world's encyclopedia. For Zipcar, yes, people do have accidents and don't tell me. We identify them, we penalize them, and we have 1 million people sharing 13,000 cars. And the last, from my own personal self-interested perspective, when I contribute to one of these things, I always get more than I give. I put in my little piece, but I get everyone else's stuff to share. So for me, this is positively happening, this transformation, and it is the structure for our dynamic times. We need to address climate, we need to address income inequality, we need to transition our economies, and this is the structure in which you can experiment, iterate, adapt, and evolve. Thank you.